going on, people? Hope you are all well. So in this vlog of the T5 series, I'm fitting the coolant gauge as the T5 doesn't have one as standard, and also got the results for the T5 after being mapped by RCS tuning and custom remapping. Please go and check them out on Facebook and on Instagram. I've dropped their links below in the description. Let's keep watching. So in the van, and what I've realized is I haven't actually got a coolant temp gauge. So the plan will be, I've purchased a digital coolant temp gauge, as we can see here. I found the mounting point, which I'm going to put just here, just underneath my phone holder, and then I'm going to run the wires down and wire them up. So obviously at the end of this wire I have a green which goes to the sensor, which I've also got. Red wire goes to ignition feed and black wire goes to the earth. So that is the job that I'm going to be doing in this vlog today. Also, I had the van remapped, RCS tuning. They've done a wicked job of getting this running right, because obviously with the PD130, the mapping wasn't right whatsoever. So here is the readout. We can see how clean, obviously, the curve is. And we are running 180 brake and 318 foot-pound of torque. And I am so impressed with the way the van pulls and the way that the accelerator response is. So a big shout out to RCS Tuning, Custom and Remapping. Go and hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. I'll leave their link in the description below. So let's go on with the coolant gauge. So obviously we saw in the previous vlog that I was fitting the stereo. Now I need a ignition feed for the coolant gauge, which I now have fitted, as we saw in that clip, which is just underneath the phone holder. So what I'm actually planning on doing is I will rewire the S-contact fuse, and I will put it on a connector so that it links up to the coolant gauge as well, so that when I disconnect the ignition or take the key out, then the coolant gauge goes on and off. So it would be this wire here, again, a bit of a mess always behind the stereo, but it would be this wire here which I've gone into. So I'm going to recut this wire, run my coolant gauge wire down this gap underneath, find a nice earth, and then I've got to run the sensor wire from underneath the bonnet, which we'll go to shortly, and then run that through the car to the green pickup wire. So here we go, carry on fitting. So what I've done, I've cut the wire which I just previously mentioned, and I've put this connector on the end. So this allows me to put two connectors onto this one wire. So we've got a slot for a female spade, which is just here, which goes off the back of the head unit, and then the one for the male spade, which is on the end of the gauge. So this will now be hooked up so that when I take the ignition out, or the key out the ignition on the S-contact, the coolant gauge will turn off, and obviously when I start the van it will come on as normal. So then it's now a case of running this wire down the dash. I'm going to have to take the glove box out to find a nice earth, and also find a grommet for the signal wire to come up through. Let's keep watching. So I've got the wiring for the sensor wire, which I've used this grommet here, which goes off the bottom of the heater blower, perfectly goes through. So I'm now going to run it underneath the ABS pump, and then I will go to the lower coolant pipe, which we can just see what I'm shining my torch on now. I'm going to go to this pipe here to put the sensor in and the adapter piece. So the adapter piece that I've actually got is this piece here. So I'll have to cut the pipe and Jubilee clip it on. I've already PTFE taped the sensor in, and as we can see it is in there already. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky, and I'm definitely going to get covered in coolant. So keep watching. So we've got the sensor in for the coolant gauge, which we can see here. So I've cut the pipe, put Jubilee clips on it, and then run the wire in. So we've got the white cable, which is now connected with black, and that goes to my earth, and then the blue cable goes inside and obviously picks up to the coolant gauge wiring. So I'm going to blow this all off, refill the coolant back up, calibrate the actual gauge itself, and then hopefully we'll be able to see what temperatures I'm running. So I've got my rock and roll bed from rockandrollbeds.co.uk. Just put a seat cover over it, just where I've just had it in storage. So if we take the seat cover off, see I've gone for the orange leather with the stitching as well to match my front seat covers. So today's job will also be getting it into the back of the van. It is a full width rock and roll bed. So keep watching. So we can see that the bed is in. I've mounted it as close to the front seats as possible, mainly because I don't want it to be so far back that I can't see who is in the back. Not only that, I will be getting a bracket for the front seats to mount a TV screen to. So again, I don't want them to be so far back that they can't see the TV screen. So we've got it in, it is all leveled up. I've gone around the back and I've made sure that the seat frame is equal throughout. So now it's a case of marking up the holes, which would just go around the back now. So it's a case of marking up these holes here and then drilling through. And then it will be mounted. I've got a full fitting kit with this bed. Again, big shout out to Rock and Roll Beds, which I have put the link of the website in the description. The quality of this is unbelievable. Like, I absolutely love the quality, and again, you can choose whatever stitching you like. I've gone for the orange and black mainly to match my front seats. So let's keep going. So the bed is in. Whoa, it's dirty. So obviously the initial plan with the previous clip is to have the bed, when it's fully extended, to be as close to the back seats as possible. This wasn't quite the case, because when I come to drill the flooring, which I'll just go round to the back, the holes were actually in line with the chassis and I couldn't access them. So I ended up having to measure the bed itself and then drill from up underneath. So the bed is now in and I'm very, very happy with it. I've got a little bit of space. Obviously I've got a little bit of storage underneath. So when I go to shows, depending on how many cars I've got, and there is one, depending on how many cars I've got to take, might still allow me to keep the seats in. If not, it'd just be a case of unbolting the seats. As you saw, I could easily lift the bed in and out. It only weighs about 75 kilos, I'm led to believe. But again, massive shout out to Rock and Roll Beds UK. Go and check them out on their website. So yeah, quality is unbelievable. So we saw that I've had a remap by RCS Tuning, who've done an amazing job. Further investigation, I have in fact found as well, this is my fault, doing a bit of online research, that I should have used the map sensor from the PD130. This is the original one out of the van, which I've cut off, and I've put the one which is a 3-bar map sensor. So the part number, just so you can see if you're doing this swap, there's the part numbers there. So be warned that if you're doing a PD130 swap in your T5, use the PD130 map sensor. So I will be popping back down to RCS Tuning just to get the map double checked and get some footage. So that is this vlog done. So a couple of things that I just wanted to add is, obviously we saw a clip of me fitting the PD130 map sensor. After taking it to the boys over at RCS Tuning, trying to map it in, it just wasn't having any of it. So then went back to the 2.5 bar and mapped it. Rich over at RCS Tuning took it for a test drive, and he was blown away by the results, the way that the van actually felt. he was so happy with the results again. So we're now back to 180 brake and running around about 320 foot-pound of torque. And there's also, what I did do is fit the PD130 MAF sensor, which is the part that goes in by the airbox, just so it has a smoother idle. So yeah, the PD130 map sensor, depend on what sort of setup you're running, obviously might be interchangeable to see what works best for you. So I can't guarantee whether it'll work if you do this conversion. Again, so it's just a trial and error. So a big shout out to Rock and Roll Beds for the bed, and also RCS Tuning and Custom Remapping for the remap and just their top level work. So please go and check them out. Until next time, hit that like, share and subscribe. Peace.